Mock the Week. I'm Dara Briain. Joining me this week are Hal Cruttenden, Zoe Lyons and Ed Byrne, Ed Gamble, Hugh Dennis and Angela Barnes. We start tonight with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, what's going on here?
That looks like Michael Gove easing himself onto a hard Brexit.
Maybe just so simple. A poor person has just walked in the room.
Is this what happens when you wake up and you realise that you're Michael Gove?
I think he's realised that wasn't just a fart.
He looks like a haunted Pez dispenser.
Could you imagine if you bought a blow-up doll and you took it home and blew it up and it looked like...
I reckon what you can't see behind it is Boris just stabbing away at him in the back.
He's just had a fantastic idea, that's all. He just has a moment of political epiphany. He goes, wait, I know, what if we ruined everything?
OK, are you going to tell me exactly what it is?
Yes, it's Michael Gove.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Yes, it is. Wow. Yes, this is a picture of Conservative MP Michael Gove. He was in the news this week after he suggested that the government should lift the public sector pay cap whilst pressure mounted on Theresa May and Philip Hammond to ease austerity. A number of them said this. He apparently did. Boris Johnson has said this. What makes it unfortunate about the timing that they're suddenly calling for a lifting of the public service pay cap?
Because it's about a week after they voted against it.
Yeah! It seems like relatively empty words at this stage.
It is almost as though this government haven't got a clue what they're doing.
It's almost like a sat-nav sort of leading the country at the moment. It's just on make a U-turn where possible.
It's an amazing decision to give Minister for the Environment to someone who looks like they've never been outside before.
He does have the look of the sickly Victorian child.
Yeah, he looks like he drowned in a well.
He's also... He's going to clash with May, though, isn't he? Because he's also Minister of Agriculture, isn't he? So he's got to stop her running through the wheat fields.
I feel uncomfortable with Pick all the time on the way he looks, because, you know, he can't help that. You know, it's his policies that are ugly, not just the fact he looks like Pob's dad.
What else did he say? What else did he announce this week?
Well, basically we're stopping foreign fishermen coming into our inshore waters so they can't scoop up our nappies and our turds.
British turds.
Yeah, British
beaches.
I think you'll find that is a British shopping trolley, senor.
What I imagine now is that if I was in charge of a European trawler now, I would take it right out to the edge of that 12 miles and I'd have loads of fish food and I'd just dump it in the sea so all the fish come across. Just...
Because it is 6 to 12 miles, that's all it is. And the 6 to 12 miles in a kind of an environment in which fish can move very easily.
We've kept ourselves a very small strip, haven't we? We've essentially given ourselves a fishing Brazilian.
Yes.
I think they're going to police it by stopping the foreign boats coming in by having Gove out on a rock somewhere, just in a pair of Speedos like that. They'll be like, oh, my God!
But what, like a sign, like Michael Gove lying across the rocks, luring Spanish fishermen to their death. Let me see it.
Oh, my God, look at that disappointing blow-up doll!
No matter. Pedro. It feels like it's going to be one of those episodes. Really, Pedro? One of those episodes? Si, senor.
That's, of course, your character who's from the country of foreign.
Yes. What else did he say about that? What did he say about graduates and university educations?
He's raised the possible question of we should maybe discuss tuition fees.
They're just sort of grabbing a lot of Corbyn's popular policies from the election, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're about a week away from Theresa May announcing she wants to put more money into Stormzy.
It's funny because you'd almost think we should have had, like a few weeks ago, maybe some big event where everybody could have laid out their policies. Don't worry.
September, October, there'll be another one. It all begins again. What, by the way, is Theresa May reportedly prepared to do if Brexit negotiations don't go her way?
She's going to storm out.
She's
not happy with the negotiations. She is going to storm out. It's like they spent 12 months saying, we cannot reveal our hand, we must not let the other side know what we're going to do, and then we're telling them that we are going to storm out. It's almost as though this government haven't got a clue what they're doing.
Knowing Theresa May, no matter how much she plans it in advance, she'll end up storming out, accidentally walk into the stationery cupboard and have to stay in there for 3 hours.
That's exactly what happens when you try and... I've never had a successful storm out. I once stormed out after an argument with my boyfriend. We were in a pub, and I stormed out, and then I realised I'd left my handbag and my keys on the table, and there's nothing worse than having to storm back in again.
Did you do the and another thing?
Also, they want her to be hard-headed and cold-eyed, and you think, she does that very, very, very well. In fact, every morning her aides have to come in and carry her out onto the lawn so that she's warmed by the sun.
Or warming rock. She's on a warming rock.
She's on a warming rock.
Slowly her internal body temperature. She does have a look in that very photograph like she's looking at the sun going, you are my enemy, but also, I need you, I need you.
It's Despicable Me.
Could you just...
But there is a thing where it's like a marriage, where if you leave and storm out, you do lose everything. There is a thing, if I left my wife and go, right, I'm going, goodbye, but you get the house, you get the kids, you get the money, and...
Is that how you're choosing to do it on Mock the Week?
Having said that, actually, leave my wife money. My wife's Northern Irish, so she's recently come into quite a lot of money. She's going to be able...
OK, moving on. How has Jeremy Corbyn tightened his grip on the Labour Party?
Oh, he wants to get rid of the moderates. And
He does?
Yes.
Corbyn's moving towards a hard Brexit. Who did you get rid of, do you know?
He's purged the moderates, hasn't he? That's the language. He's purged them. But if they repent, he'll allow them to work on a collective allotment or something.
It feels pretty hypocritical, though, because as an MP, he defied the whip, like, over 400 times.
Yeah.
And now he's getting angry with people for defying the whip. That's like Adele firing her tour manager for calling in sick.
I think somebody had tickets.
Yes.
A lot of people worried, aren't they, about with the new shadow cabinet that they're very sort of inexperienced. I just think, well, they're the shadow cabinet. They can't really do anything. It's like worrying that you've got an inexperienced air guitarist, you know.
Come on, John. You could kill somebody with licks like that.
I think he's just in a bad mood because he's on a come-down from Glastonbury.
You think he needs, like, a V festival or something just to kind of soften it up?
Yeah, just to bring him back down, level him back out. Yeah. Because he probably came back and he was all high from people chanting his name, and he was like, no one's chanting my name anymore. And he looked down sadly at the wristband he's definitely left on.
Do you know the toilets at Glastonbury? You sit in this thing and it's got a thing on the door saying, do you know what? 1 in 3 people in the world don't have a toilet. I'm thinking, well, lucky bastards. I'd rather shit in a field than be this.
You know you're going into a bad toilet when there's a sign on the door reminding you that other people don't have toilets.
Exactly. It was a bit like that.
But like I open shows going, you know, some people don't even have access to comedy.
At the end of that round, the points go to Ed, Zoe and Hal. Now we play a round called Trumpty Dumpty Sat in a Wall. This game involves Angela and Hal. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round's a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. This first subject is growing old. Who wants to come in on that? Angela.
Cool. No, I recently turned 40, and I want to reassure anyone younger, turning 40 is really easy. My friend turned 40 recently. She made a bucket list, right? She said to me, you're going to make a bucket list. And I said, do you know what I hear when I hear bucket list? I hear admin. They're always so ambitious, aren't they? It's like, oh, I want to go to the Taj Mahal, I want to swim with dolphins. The only thing I could think of that I genuinely would want to put on my bucket list is that one day, I'd like to put half a packet of biscuits back in a cupboard. But getting old, growing old in this country looks scary, and it's looking scarier and scarier. You know, by the time I get to old age, there won't be care homes. anymore, will there? It'll just be an OAP rescue centre. So it'll be like Battersea Dog Zone. This idealistic young couple will come in, they'll get shown around. This is Maud, she likes knitting, gardening, casual racism. Why don't you take her home? That's what it'll be. So we have to worry about these things. We do, because we're all living longer, aren't we? There's so many 100-year-olds in this country now, the Queen's had to get a Moonpig account to keep up. This is my plan for old age. If I get there, right, if I get to my 80s, I am going to spend every single day doing Class A hardcore drugs. Why wouldn't you? Right, you don't have to get up in the morning, do you? Right? You'll never have trouble finding a vein. I'll tell you something, you might not be able to afford to heat your bungalow, but I bet you can afford to heat a teaspoon, then you won't give a shit how cold you are. No-brainer, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Angela. So that leaves us with Hal. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. Topic is nationality.
Ah, yes. Well, I'm English, obviously, which is rubbish, isn't it? No, it is. No one likes us. If you, I follow England at rugby, at football. Everywhere we go, we get booed. Everybody else boos us. My wife, Northern Irish, boos me in bed. Absolutely. Boo! You're rubbish! Get off! You English are crap! It's not all English people, it's just me. I was actually doing a gig in Scotland a couple of years ago in Glasgow, and I said to a room full of Scottish people, is it true, whenever we play football, you support the opposition? And they all went, yeah, yeah, we do. I said, you know what? We do the same to you, we just never know when you're playing. But I happen to think that sort of anti-English thing, and with Brexit, means the UK is finished. Eventually, in my lifetime, the UK is going to break up, I think. I said I was a passionate Remainer when it came to Brexit, or Ramona, or my favourite one, a sneering member of the metropolitan middle-class liberal elite. I love being called that. I love being called elite. It makes me sound like we're like super troops, you know, that go around the area in a van, keeping it bourgeois. We all screech to a halt, we jump out, we take up our favourite yoga position immediately. That cafe's no longer serving decaf soya lattes! Destroy it! Say that word, quinoa. It's quinoa, you bug!
Thank you very much. Well done, Hal Cruttenden. I can't slide. Points of both of you. Come on back. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Hal, which category would you like?
I would like world news, please.
OK, your category is world news. The answer is 24 hours. What is the question?
Is this what Jeremy Corbyn wants the voting age to be reduced to?
Is it, in his dreams, how long would each of Dara's science specials last?
We love the science.
I feel there's a lot that we can all learn.
Is it... How long does every minute feel like if you're Melania Trump?
Is it how long did it take me to actually find the exit once I'd bought my tea lights in IKEA?
Is it how long till Julian Assange makes another vertical scratch on the wall of his embassy bedroom?
How long is the time between my mum's 2-part text messages?
Is it how long do you have to come up with evidence before the DA busts your ass?
Is this a new action movie, Strangely English Cop?
Bust your ass!
Chief, I'm terribly sorry to hear your arse is in a sling.
We'll have to take that straight to the Lord Mayor.
How long was Jeremy Corbyn awake at Glastonbury after taking what he thought was an aspirin?
Does anyone know the correct answer?
The correct answer is...
Yes?
How much warning, apparently, are we going to get before Donald Trump comes on a visit to the UK?
Absolutely right. Thank you very, very much, Hugh. This is the news of a gap in his diary. It means that President could drop in and visit Britain sometime in mid-July.
Can I say President Trump could drop in is the best euphemism for I'm about to fart I've ever heard.
the short notice supposed to cut down on the likelihood of protest?
Yes, I
He's
imagine.
really underestimating the British public. We do not need anything more than 24 hours to buy some eggs, write prick on a placard and drive to Scotland.
Actually going to be in America, I think, when he's coming over. I'm going to America next weekend. And so I had to fill in my, you know, the Esther thing.
Esther form, yeah.
I had to fill in today. And they now ask you about your social media and your online presence on it. And I'm really worried, because I've got an account with Mecca Bingo.
The main reason you're in Scotland, partly to visit the golf courses, partly to do his biannual iron brew bath, just to... bronze it up again.
When he gets to Scotland, though, he'll presumably visit Hadrian's Wall, won't he? And then tweet about how this has successfully kept Mexicans out of Scotland for...
Yeah. How has Trump himself dealt in fake news this week?
It's a False Time magazine cover, isn't it?
Yes, he put up fake Time magazine covers in 5 of his clubs. This, which was framed with Donald Trump as a television smash written on it. And then if you go to the barcode, if you scan the barcode, it just sends you directly to a website that allows you to create your own fake Time magazine covers.
What is the point? He's actually been on the cover of Real Time magazine.
Yes.
It's like you mocking yourself up in front of the Mock the Week logo going, I told you I was on the show.
Yes.
Also, like, in that photo, he looks like he's absolutely determined to have very pointy orange eyebrows.
For a man who gives out about fake news, it is, and had this ridiculous thing up, it is kind of offensive, really. It's something I expand upon, actually, quite a lot in an interview I did recently with Women's Health magazine.
And I have to say, at first I was disappointed that there wasn't an article about me, but then I spotted the killer abs on the loose.
It's something I discussed, actually, quite at length in an interview I recently did with Classic and Sports Car magazine, which you'll see these, yes, it's just a thing I have on the wall at home. How many of these did you do?
That makes you look like Vladimir Putin.
That is, may I say, your Photoshop skills ran out. Darlene, how I've learned to ride a horse despite my heavily broken neck. I cannot see to the front, and yet I can still jump the fences. No, put me back on the horse. I wish to ride again. In other news, how might doctors greet us in the future?
They want to get rid of the handshake because it spreads germs. So
Yes.
they're suggesting other ways to do it, such as the fist bump.
Yeah.
Because they feel that doctors aren't respected enough. And this will command a great deal more respect.
The fist pump is a bit aggressive, and I wouldn't want to hear the word fist pump if I went into my GP surgery. Hand conkers is a nicer term.
Hand conkers?
Hand conker. That's a much nicer term. Yeah.
Well, as a man, I don't want to hear hand contact.
They could avoid contact altogether by just doing the high five, the scuba dive.
But a lot of the time, this is a time where you've come out of surgery and the family are there. And the thing about the handshake is that it can be both a happy thing, a respectful thing, it can be done with sad news. Fist bumps really are they don't carry off bad news very well, right? Boom, boom. Really work, okay?
I just had a thought. Imagine if you went to a fertility clinic and you were told by the doctor that the motility of your sperm was such that you were infertile, and then he went down low, too slow.
I think a good system might be to shake your doctor's hand based on the look of the person who was in there last.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if someone comes out scratching his nuts, you go, like, probably just a stiff nod and a hello today, I think.
Patient presented with weird Napoleon complex, refused to take hand from jacket.
Is that a dictaphone or are you smoking a pipe? What's your doctor impression?
I'm at a conference of other doctors discussing an interesting patient I have.
Do you know what gets me about doctors? I think that what is difficult about them is because they are so grown up about embarrassing things, aren't they? They are like, sort of, we'll pop your trousers on the chair and we'll do the rectal examination. They're very grown. Wouldn't it be easier if they were more like us, just really going, you're not going to believe what I have to do to you now. I can't see you anymore. You're going to have to see someone else. It's just, you're fine.
I went in for an appendicitis thing, and this one was in my mid-20s, and the girl came in to the junior doctor came in, and I knew her because I was mid-20s and she was mid-20s, and it's near the university that I went to, and we and she said, I have to do a rectal exam now. And it was like, OK, let us never speak of this again. Actually, they do have to. It wasn't she saw me and went, you arsehole, I'm going to do a rectal exam with you now. This, I have been waiting for this moment for many years. Oh, hit your head in the snow, did you? Well, a rectal exam for you, man.
I remember going to my GP to discuss having a vasectomy, and she said, I can't talk to you about this on your own. I need to discuss this with your wife as well, because this affects her too. And I'm like, they're my balls. But that high pitch, though, would you really run? But I go, but they're my balls. And she just gives me this doctory look like, we got a lot of men in here thinking it's their balls. You are merely the keeper of the balls. I need to discuss this with the owner of the balls. If you can have her come down at her earliest convenience, please.
I once dated a doctor. But, you need to be way more impressed than that, because girls like me don't get to date the doctor, unless that's their prison nickname. That's the only... And I knew it was good. At one point, he leant over and he whispered in my ear, he said, have you been a naughty girl? I said, yeah, I drink too much, I don't exercise. It's been 10 years since I've had a smear.
I've had a circumcision. I just think if everyone's given up info, we all may as well lay it on the line, right?
But did you have it as a little baby?
23.
Oh, jeez, that's not serious.
My bit of info is the last time I did have a smear, I got recognised from this show.
Oh.
Well, if you will keep getting your bits out.
Did the head pop up and go, love you, I'm up the week, by the way.
My thing is...
It's OK, you can do this, man. Come on, it's all right.
So I am a very good friend. I have known my doctor for a long time. So I went in once because it was the same thing as you, and I had to have things pushed up where the sun doesn't shine and all that. And I asked for the diagnosis afterwards, and I said, "What is it? Is it polyps?" And he went, "Oh, well, frankly, you just got a very tatty arse."
At the end of that round, the points go to Andrew Gillies. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear on a fitness DVD.
Yoga, it's just stretching for twats.
Hello, I'm Dara Briain.
Welcome to Fitness with Theresa May. I'm Amber Rudd.
I'm going to make you sweaty and breathless. I've turned the heating up and hidden your inhaler.
I'd like you to raise your arms to here, and then to here, and then to there. OK, I'm afraid I'm going to have to take away your disability benefits.
And remember, guys, pain is temporary, except for Tony, who got one of his nuts caught in the trampoline springs.
This isn't going to work, is it? You can't even be bothered to leave the house.
Stretch and release, stretch and release. Welcome to the penis enlargement workout.
Can you feel the burn? Then I recommend cranberry juice.
I never used to fit into this dress, but now I've had my penis removed.
Oh, yeah. You can feel the burn.
These used to be my trousers until I discovered the secret. Buying smaller trousers.
Next, I'm going to show you my pecs. There are thousands of them. I got assaulted by a chicken.
OK, let's work on those more unsightly areas. Bums, tums and Croydon.
OK, now we're going to watch a carry-on film so you can work on your core.
And remember, girls, when it comes to weightlifting, what we're really looking for is a nice, clean snatch.
Go on, just stretch. Reach for your toes. Reach for them. Imagine your toes are made of chocolate, you fat fuck.
OK, the next topic is things you wouldn't read in a romantic novel.
He pressed his lips to hers and slid his tongue in. That's not how you're supposed to do it, shouted the other paramedic.
He was everything a woman wanted in a man. He was 47, greying, chubby, slightly camp.
He kissed her breast, tenderly. Oh, she said, get your own KFC bucket.
Mr. Darcy is the most eligible bachelor in the county, said Mrs. Bennet, and he's hung like a fucking cart horse.
Everything was in place. The bubble bath had been poured. The chocolate was there. The scented candles had been lit. This was going to be the best wank ever.
He put the chocolates down beside her. Silence. And then at last she spoke. Unexpected item in the bagging area.
6'2" and with shoulders so broad they looked like they could carry the weight of the world, and a full, lustrous moustache. Rebecca really was an unusual-looking lady.
He took her by the hand. It's wonderful to see you again. The country air becomes you. Bosom still heaving, I see. Shit, did I say that last bit out loud?
I need to hear you say it again. Why? Why do you love me, Alexa?
She had never had a ménage à trois before, let alone with two famous brothers. They drove her wild all night with their cries of, to me, to you, to me, to you, to me.
Sophie looked absolutely beautiful in her flowing wedding dress. Admittedly, it was an odd choice to wear on a first date.
When they left the bar, she saw him in a new light. Daylight, and he was disgusting.
I want to see you shit in this bin.
Does fulfil the criteria.
Christian Grey turned to her and said, I'm going to make you feel pain like you've never felt before. And he put Ed Sheeran's Galway Girl on repeat.
As he gently removed her bra, she whispered, why are you wearing my bra?
Oh, Mr. Darcy, you're so becoming. Really? He replied, because I think it's you that will be coming.
And And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Hal Cruttenden, Zoe Lyons and Ed Byrne. Commiserations to Ed Gamble, Hugh Dennis and Angela Byrne. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Briain. Good night.
Sarah Pascoe takes to the stage for 30 minutes of hilariously honest stand-up. Live from the BBC is available from BBC Three online. And for a unique take on world events, there's topical comedy with Frankie Boyle's New World Order on BBC iPlayer.